Yeah, remember this. The real menace to society ain't the boys in the hood. It's the fools in the hood.
So, Menace, why isn't the health issue a big deal for black people?
Well, I mean, because we're sick. Just being honest with you, before you can really even talk about, wellness and health and massage therapy and yoga with black people, you have to accept the fact that the reality is we view sickness as normal. Many of us actually even grew up with someone who was literally dying around us, always moaning, always limping, always aching. We grew up like that. So, I asked the question, like, where is our Jane Fonda? We don't have a health culture. Where is our Jane Fonda, our picture of health amongst our people? We like Michael Jordan because he can hang in the air for 10 minutes, but we don't care if he eats a salad or if he, drinks soy milk or anything. We just like his shoes. So we view sickness as normalcy.
I understand what you're saying, but our leaders, the very people who are supposed to represent us, don't take it on board. They deal with other things such as politics, but not health. Why is this?
Well, there's a conflict of interest. That's what holds them at bay, because the reality is most of our leaders today are actually getting grants or are being funded by some of the very institutions that they would find themselves speaking out against. So therefore they're in a quandary over that. And then the other thing is they really can't get all up in our personal lives like that, because if they wanted to get all inside of the personal lives to affect real change, the people were required of them to know about their personal lives. For instance, if someone took a position or leadership took a position as to what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat, the best way for them to take that position is by abstaining from eating a certain thing themselves. So when you look at the last 30-something years, there's a certain type of personal, discipline / integrity that's been absent amongst our leaders. And this is why they've not been able to affect any real change in the lives of the people.
Okay. Well, it's not all bad. Historically, we have achieved a lot. Today, the world is still baffled by the pyramids. Remember the pyramids? We actually built them.
Well, let me ask you a question. Prove it. Prove it. How can you prove we built the pyramids? I mean, think about it, for real. Do we look like the kind of people who want to choose organic over non-organic, or fruit with seeds in it as opposed to seedless? The reality is, Mandisa, the man who built the pyramids won't even paint his house. The man who walked on water won't even drink water. And furthermore, the mother of civilization is on birth control. The reality is that, let me give you a history lesson real quick. You've heard of the Crusader Wars, and you ever heard of the Holy Grail? Well, you're there in London. In the London Museum, most of the relics and holy writings that were in Northeast Africa were taken from that particular area and stored in those areas, as well as the Louvre Museum, as well as the Vatican Museum. But the thing was, in giving you the history lesson, the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail was supposedly a particular cup that was used to catch the blood of Jesus 2,000-something years ago. And it was promised that if anyone could find that and drink from that, they would have everlasting life. Now, my point in saying that is this. The reason for all of those invasions into those holy areas was they were looking for something. But the question is, what were they looking for? They wasn't looking for the pyramids per se. They were looking for the lifestyle of the people who could build the pyramids. Why? Because they knew it was within our genetics, within our life bloodline, that we were going to live forever. They knew everlasting life was something that was real for us. So after they took those things and studied them and probed and so on, they came back to Africa and they took you and I. When they brought you to the West, they brought you there to you guys in Europe, they were still watching us. They watched us throughout slavery, but they could never figure it out, because the fact of the matter is, we had even forgotten that we once lived forever. So that's where we find ourselves. So when you look at the brothers, the homeboys on the block, we should take another position. we should take another position, because the missing thing was the lifestyle that would allow you to live forever. Not a lifestyle that would make you die, which was what we are clinging to today. I always tell people, instead of getting fighting mad, get fasting mad. What would happen to McDevils and Krusty Kreme donuts and Lurch's chicken if we stopped eating there? Then they would feel us. You know how the brothers in the streets say, "Can you feel me?" Well, if we stopped eating at those places, trust me, they would feel us.
Okay, so what do you eat? Are you a vegetarian?
Well, actually, I'm a vegan. I don't eat anything that had parents or that has eyes, because I have friends, and friends will ask me, "But don't you miss eating a big juicy steak?" Well, let me tell you this. Everyone who's listening, let's just be very, very clear. There's no juice in a steak. Only fruits and vegetables produce juice. And do you want me to tell you what's in a steak? I hope you.
I don't even want to hear it.
Now you need to hear that. You see,
okay.
What's in a steak is blood, sweat, and pus. I really want to say that again. Can I say it again?
Okay, go ahead.
It's blood, sweat, and pus. It's like when you have a pimple on your face. That's not face juice. If you pop it and that white stuff that scoots out and the blood, that's a pimple. That's blood, sweat, and pus. It's not face juice. So, that's what we find ourselves in. It's just a matter of education, and we have to gravitate to this thing called a health culture. It's a movement.